Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am working on this Mr. coffee machine, and it just stopped working, right? As soon as you turn it on, within seconds, you hear a little beep, 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 as if it's already done, right? So it doesn't stay on, it doesn't pump the water, doesn't make my coffee. So coffee makers are real simple, guys. You don't have to rush out and buy a new one. If you're pretty handy, if you can turn a screwdriver, if you have some mild soldering skills, very easy to fix. So the first thing you want to look at is inside of this tube. This tube comes from the tank, and the water comes in through this tube. It goes through this heating coil, heats up the water. As water heats and expands, it's pushed through this line back over to the top of the coffee maker where the hot water just spills over your grounds, right? So the first thing you want to do is take this apart and make sure that inside of this tube is this little cheap part, probably cost 2 pennies to make. It's just a very simple check valve. And what a check valve does, it only allows a medium, in this case liquid, water, to flow in one direction. If the water, as is expanding, tries to come back this way, it won't allow it. The check valve, there's a little ball in there and it plugs a hole, so it doesn't allow anything to go in that direction, only up in this direction. So again, water is expanding, it wants to push in every direction, the check valve stops it, and the water is forced to the nozzle, right? So pop this hose off, 2 little simple clamps, one there, one up here, and squeeze that little thing out. Just squeeze the tube and squeeze it out, and just clean it. You know, sometimes there's a little plastic ball in there and that gets stuck, or with the high heat, because we do have hot water trying to go back that way, it won't allow it. So in this case, this was okay. I took it apart, pulled the check valve out, cleaned it, put the check valve back in the tube, blew on this side and it wouldn't let the air out, blew on this end and the air moved freely. So check valve was good. Okay, good. That's not the problem, right? I thought it was. I thought if the check valve was stuck, it wasn't feeding any water, triggering this little guy right here, and this sends a signal to shut off a relay. Okay, so this is the next thing to check. This, guys, is called a thermistor. It's a thermal activated resistor. Think of it like a thermal switch. Okay, so a switch can be normally open or normally closed. In this coffee maker, these are made normally closed. So when this is cool and it's not over temperature, this is a closed switch, allowing power to flow in through here on the red, goes through the switch, and it feeds this wire, which goes back to a control signal. But on the other side of that are some Zener diodes, right? Those Zener diodes are feeding power to the heating element that runs inside of here, right? So power is going to come through here, through the thermal switch, and if it's operating normally, this is a normally closed switch. So during normal operation, this is going to current's going to flow, and going to come through the Zener diodes into the input side of the heating element. Heating element is inside of that aluminum chamber, and it comes out on this other side where you see the blue wire. Okay, so basically what was happening, and how I know that this is a bad thermal switch, that's the replacement. Here's the one that was there, right? Little thermal paste on the bottom, and this is the one that used to be there. Before I pull that guy off, you can do a very, very simple test with a little digital multimeter. Just set it to resistance, and normally, again, remember I said this is a normally closed switch. So here I'm just touching lead to lead. So we're completing a circuit, very low resistance. Now, on a good switch, if I put my leads on there, I should see the same thing happening on the meter. In this case, I'm going to focus on the screen and not on the switch so you guys can see. The screen stays open. It's saying there's no connection here. I guess this is a closed circuit. Very low resistance. Less than 1 ohm. Okay? That's exactly what we should be seeing when we touch these leads on this thermistor. And we do not. So this is a bad thermistor. It should be normally closed. So in a normal state, this thing should be conducting electricity through there. Right? So all I simply did is, and here's where your little soldering skills come in, right? Cut the old connections off, resolder them back onto the tabs here. Obviously, I did this with it off the unit. So did my soldering off the unit, and then just slid it back on, screwed it in, reconnected my connections here. I cut these just because I needed space and I needed to be able to access. These had little butt connectors connecting the wires. Those are one-time use connectors, so can't really open them up and reuse them. So you have to just cut the wire and just use some standard these wire nuts. Make sure everything's tucked in very nice. And I already did a test and made my my next batch of coffee, and now it's working. So guys, in all, this little guy right here, you can buy this on Amazon. Placed an order 2 days ago on Monday and got it today on Wednesday. And actually, I'm kind of surprised. I only ordered one. It's like $7, and they sent me 2 of them. So I have an extra one. These are very common devices, very, very simple little devices. These are used in coffee makers, they're used in blenders, they're used in microwaves, they even use them. Just a heat detector device. So basically, if this was ever to overheat, this guy opens up, cuts power, right? So you don't cause any problems or burn your coffee. Last thing you want to do is burn your coffee. All right. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. Very simple to do. Getting access into this requires removing the bottom cover, which is right here. Actually, this is the top. And to be able to remove this cover, you have 2 screws here. Yeah, I did have to purchase a special bit. This is a 3-point star security bit for a security screw. Mr. Coffee and other manufacturers don't want you digging in there and trying to repair their machines for a $7 part. They want you to go out to the store and spend $30, $40, $50 or more dollars for a coffee maker, especially if you've got a really fancy one, in the hundreds of dollars. These things are very simple and they're very easy to fix. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I can't give you any part numbers. Basically, I found this by looking up the model number here, and I just went online and punched in this and did a search for thermistor. That's all. So all in all, it took me about 20 to 30 minutes to pull this thing apart, and pull everything off, rewire everything, and get it back up and running. So easy fix. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you.